Hello everyone, my topic is nervous circulation. So first of all the question is what is nervous circulation? So it is a circulatory system where blood passes through the heart twice during one complete circle. So why the blood passes twice through the heart? So we will discuss this thing in the next slide. And this efficient design ensure oxygen rich and oxygen poor blood remain separate. What do you mean by oxygen rich? Oxygen rich is oxygenated blood, and oxygen poor blood means the deoxy blood. And the system consists of two distinct circuits: the pulmonary circuit, which carries blood between the heart and the lungs, and the systematic circuit, which carrying blood between the heart and the rest of the body. And this also we discuss in the next slide. So this is the double circulation, and main thing is it is a closed circulation process. It is a closed circulation process. First of all, the blood from the body parts goes to the right atrium, and which is a deoxy blood, and from the right atrium it goes to the right ventricle. This is the right ventricle. So from the right ventricle it goes to the lungs by the means of pulmonary artery. And let me tell you, pulmonary artery is the only artery which carries the deoxy blood. And from the lungs, it goes to the left atrium. And this is the oxygenated blood. And the pulmonary vein is the only vein which carry the oxygenated blood. And from the left atrium, as you can see in the picture, from the left atrium, it go to the left ventricle. And from the left ventricle, the oxygenated blood goes to the body parts by the means of aorta, which is transported by the aorta. And here you can see the blood enter the heart twice, from the body part to the right atrium, and from the lungs to the left atrium. The only difference is in the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, which is filtered by the lungs. And now we go to the next slide. And there are the two pathways: pulmonary circuit and the systematic circuit pathways. In the pulmonary circuit, the deoxy blood flow from the right ventricle through pulmonary artery to the lungs. As I told you in the previous slide, pulmonary artery is the only artery which carries the deoxy blood, which goes to the lungs, and the lungs convert the deoxy blood to the oxygenated blood. And this oxygenated blood returned by the pulmonary vein to the left atrium. It means it is going back to the heart. So it is a double circulation now. And the oxygenated blood carries by the pulmonary vein, and it is the only vein which carries the oxygenated blood. And in the systematic circuit, the oxygenated blood pumps from the left ventricle throughout the systematic arteries to the body tissues. So here is what is happening here: the oxygenated blood which came from the lungs to the left atrium, and from the left atrium it goes to the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle it goes to the body parts. And after delivering oxygen, deoxy blood return through systematic veins to the right atrium. So what's happening now? The uh, the double circulation is happening again. It is the repetition of the circuit of the double circulation. And now we go to the next slide. So these are the two circuit: the pulmonary circuit and the systematic circuit. In the pulmonary circuit, blood flows from the right ventricle to the lungs, as I told you by the diagram. In the lungs, the CO2 is released and oxygen is absorbed. So this is the main point. So we can also say like lungs is the main thing which convert the deoxygenated blood to the oxygenated blood by releasing the CO2, and absorption of O2 occurs, and the oxygenated blood return to the left atrium through pulmonary vein. And what's happening in the systematic circuit? the oxygenated blood is pumped from the left ventricle to the body parts throughout the aorta and the systematic arteries. And after delivering the blood to the tissues, the deoxy blood return to the right atrium. So this is the repetition of the circuit. And moving to the next slide. So there is a blood flow sequence, like what is the first step, what is the second step, and what is the third step. So in the first step, deoxy blood from the body enter to the right atrium, which go to the right ventricle, which is below the right atrium, and in between them there are valves present, which ensure like there is no backflow of the blood, which prevent the backflow of the blood. And from the right ventricle it goes to the lungs by the pulmonary arteries. And as I told you, the pulmonary arteries what they did no like lungs what they did. Lungs, in the lungs CO2 is released and the absorption of O2 occur, which convert deoxy blood to the oxygenated blood, and the that blood goes to the article, and from where it goes to the left ventricle, and by the left ventricle it goes to the body parts, to the tissues and all. And as you can see in the step 3, oxygenated blood returned by pulmonary vein to the left atrium, moves to the left ventricle, and is pumped through the aorta to deliver oxygen throughout the body. So yeah, here is the complete sequence, or you can say the complete circuit, which is a which is also double circulation, cause the blood enter in the heart twice. And the question is why it matters, why double circulation is required. So for first of all, it is required for the efficient oxygen delivery, because the oxygenated blood carries the oxygen which is required for the tissue to function, to ensure the function of the of better function of the body or of the tissue or of the cell at their own level. And it also carries the nutrients which is required of require cause we need energy and all. And in the double circulation ensure that oxygenated blood is pumped at high pressure to body tissues, maximizing oxygen and nutrient delivery to cell throughout the entire body. Of course the nutrient is required by the body, because energy is required, ATP is required for the better function of the cell tissues or for the repairing of the tissues or cell or the organs. And it is a complete blood separation of what, separation of deoxy blood and oxygenated blood, which never mix, and maintaining optimal oxygen concentration for the tissue and enabling warm blood animals to sustain high metabolic rates. And this is the key takeaways. Double circulation ensures efficient oxygen delivery and the CO2 removal, goes as the CO2 removed in the lungs and the oxygen is absorbed by separating oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. This two-circuit system maximize gas exchange in the lungs and nutrient delivery throughout the body. So this is the my topic. Thank you so much.